Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, a best-of-7 from the ITAX Super Series. 2 champions you should know, and at least one you probably love. Let me first introduce the other one. The villain, the foil, the nemesis from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, the GSL champion. It's Rogue. And of course, needs no introduction, but deserves one, and also no early cheeses, so has time for one anyways. Picked up by Shopify Rebellion, returning in full and very similar form. The man who loves units that starts with M, and will stick with them no matter the cost, especially against this opponent. But it is Shopify Rebellion's World Champion, Byun. We've seen this series multiple times throughout many tournaments lately. Rogue has gotten the better of Byun, sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, but we'll see if that does continue into this ITAX Super Series. Like and subscribe if no matter what series we're watching, you'll watch Byun to confirm what I already suspected when we got here. But he's looked better. The thing with Byun, like, he will play his Terran. He's the reason so many Terrans are so principled, for better or worse. And the type of Terran he loves to play is Marines and Medevacs, and everything else is begrudgingly accepted. Marauders and Mines a little more easily. Liberators and Vikings begrudgingly. Occasionally Ghosts as well. And he's great with Ghosts when we actually get there. It just takes a big mental effort. So it's going to be a pull first, by the way, out of Rogue. He just kind of makes 6 Zerglings, and walks across the map. Byun countered this by not scouting. He's going to pull 5 SCVs. We're going to start things off. Not going to be able to cancel the command center. Byun has been doing this. He's kind of disowned Reapers. After getting them nerfed twice, he thinks they're no longer a worthy unit. So, wow. Those Reapers feeling a little left out, I'll be honest. It does feel a little bit of a dick move to abandon the unit that you built literally a world championship off of. But instead of even bothering, well, Artosis jokes about it, and I think most players do recognize it as well. But that first Reaper, the Reaper that sometimes, unless you're Clem, tickles a creep tumor or maybe kills 1 or 2 Zerglings. That Reaper does feel like it just delays everything else and doesn't really have much of an effect. Byun has just cut that out of the equation. He went for a reactor first, which means he had 2 Marines, which means he was able to defend his command center against a pool first. Now following up with Hellions. And we've seen a wide variety of openers that aren't reactored Hellions out of Byun lately. But he is back to the classics here after some Marine production. And Banshees as well, straight out of 2010. Cloak on the way. Not a fake cloak for the Overlord's benefit, but instead looks to be an actual Cloak Banshee build, which isn't particularly rare, but is definitely something to note. Rogue, on the other hand, Rogue can kind of play anything. Is he just going to run by the Queen? Susan just moves into position. Make sure to shoulder out those Hellions. They really did look like they were angling for some roasting. Zergling speed is done. Rogue did invest in it. The third hatchery is a little later than it'd usually be because, of course, going pull first means you don't quite have the economy. Brenda! What? We don't have creep. We couldn't start as much early. See what happens? You had 1 job! The Hellions do give the Queens the runaround. Roast some Byun. Okay, we've had this talk. I've had this talk. One-sided talk. Not really a talk, so much as me screaming into the internet. But Hellbats. Okay. Alright, we've talked about this. Hellbats are a unit that exists. They do. That is important to note. And many Terrans choose to use this unit for reasons that will remain unknown by me in the early game in this matchup. Now, the Cloak Banshee's coming in is definitely throwing Rogue off here. He doesn't have a lair. His detection is entirely reliant on Spore Crawlers, which means these Hellbats have a good chance to actually do some damage. There's missing one tiny spot, like a speed bump of creep here. Well, the Hellbats are turning around. The Banshee just flying into the Spore Crawler, which repositions. The Hellbats now waddle away. So, I don't know. I would like to feel dumb. I would like Byun to educate me as to why so many Terrans go for Hellbat builds. Yet, they always do, and I say always, like 100% of the time, they do so little. And I see it so much, even from Byun. And, like, what are you doing? Why are there Hellbats? His upgrades are way behind. Lair's on the way. Rogue is comfortably on 3 bases now. He's defending with Queens. Why are we going Hellbats? I don't want to spend this series angry coaching Byun. Byun has infinitely more world championships than me, despite what some of my more fanboy YouTube commenters might think. But, like, was the armory worth delaying your upgrades by, like, another 30 seconds? Okay, so the Hellbats will come up. The Queens say no. The Hellbats contest the decision. The Queens continue to say no. And the Hellbats will walk away, eventually, with less of them. Rogue is just kind of casually getting a 4th before Byun gets a 3rd. The best buff you could give Terrans, if they needed a buff, which I don't agree with, the best buff you could give Terrans is removing the Hellbat, I think, in this matchup. Because so many series I see are pretty close, and then someone goes Hellbats. The Terran, obviously. I mean, this is game 1. And it's not like Byun doesn't have anything behind it. It's just that Rogue now has total map control. Byun's finishing up 1-1, but Rogue has already started 2-2. Baneling speed is halfway there, so not quite done yet. Combat Shield is finishing up, and Byun is going to move out. I feel like he's ceded a whole lot of potential map control. Looks like he may repair the Hellions. Even more consistent problem. The amount of Queens. He's got 10 Queens, most of them pulled out here. Zerglings around the back. 1 medevac almost down already. Target fires. The Queen's holding the line. Here come more Hellions. The Queen's forced to retreat, loses 1. So while the tanks were taken out, the Queen's getting whittled down here. Banelings with speed, though. Rolling through on a creep. Not all the Marines can escape. The Queens, the buffer, losing some of their number. They're used to it by now. Burrow on the way. We've been seeing a little more. I think Zerg players are getting a little more comfortable with using Burrow without focusing on it. Remember that one time when Scarlet went Burrowed Banes against Bomber? No, actually, was it Rogue or Dark? I think it was Dark up against Clem. A decisive game, or a decisive moment decided by Burrowed Banes killing Ghosts. They can definitely work in. It's as long as you're not trying to use them all the time. They're one of those, kind of like Cloak Banshees, where they're kind of surprising when they show up and can sometimes make the difference. Just the fear of them is important. Beyond that, now the problem with Burrowed Banes is they're already going to be scanning on your creep a lot of the time. So the better your creep spread, the less likely they are to be useful in a bit of an awkward exchange. Rogue now is reliant entirely on Ling Bane. Byun, despite all the meandering build in the early game, now has a 4th command center. He's got 2-2 on the way. He's got a comparable army. In fact, he has more army supply. He's pushed Rogue back to his side of the map. The thing is, Rogue is he's sprinting towards Hive Tech lurkers. Susan! Where's Brenda? She was on the other side. Oh, God. Well, 1 medevac does go down. More banelings on the way. And Byun has a very real shot at pushing through here. And now this is the time to do it. As he's getting his 4th, as he's getting 2-2, it's not going to get better for him. I don't know. He doesn't know about the hive on the way, but based on the fact Rogue is sitting back, he's not really doing any huge counterattacks. He doesn't have any other tech. There has to be something coming. Byun has not really touched the economy or the production. So that means Rogue is teching up. Byun has yet to really do any sort of non-superficial damage. Sorry, Queens. But anything that costs minerals or is a baneling is not permanent damage. Or at least not usually. Oh no! 3 tanks! Caught! Killed! A devastating blow. Meanwhile, the banelings, awkwardly, are also caught and killed. So, both sides losing a lot of expensive units. Byun really didn't want to lose those tanks, but Rogue just lost like 20 banelings, killing almost nothing. So, and they had some lings. So that was a weird exchange. Alright. Now, the problem at the end of the day, though. Trades favor Rogue right now. Trades favor Rogue. He's the one teching up. He is the one who just needs to hold until he gets the Hive Tech Lurker upgrades. And he is the one bowling through the middle of the map. The tank count is far too low. The Lings and Banes are overrunning on the Wla. The speed zone accelerating their attack. The Lurkers dunking down in Byun's face. Doesn't have the time to target them down. He can see them, but he can't stop them. Byun driven back to his 3rd. Rogue never ceding momentum. And Rogue carrying that through to a pretty decisive victory in Game 1, leaving us all asking, why Hellbats? I don't want to blame it all on the Hellbats. As Rogue is, no matter what the opener is, Rogue is incredibly scary if given any space to work. But just kind of giving him that space is... Byun might make... In fact, that game didn't have any of the usual Byun scrambling with crazy drops. No. Rogue just rolled him. So, unfortunately, that looked very similar to the games we've seen between these two lately. Which does not bode well for Byun in a best-of-7. We are on Beckett Industries, a jam-packed small map, which almost always favors Terrans, especially in a more standard game. As Terrans are the race that relies the most on their production facilities being close to their opponent. So much so that sometimes they prioritize that over putting them in their base. Alright, Rogue. I don't think we can read too much into it. Well, I've seen this series enough in the last few weeks. And, like, I see Rogue versus Byun, I have to cast Rogue versus Byun. Like, there's no choice there. Obviously. I'm contractually obligated as it's Rogue versus Byun. But so far, all the games through the past several series this month have all looked like Rogue as the unstoppable force and Byun as a very movable object. Sometimes moving very quickly. But not able to stop Rogue most of the time. Is nobody like Byun just is done with scouting? Complete. I mean, I don't think the early pull. I think the early pull actually favored Byun last game. Because he went for the Marines early, he was able to shut down the Lings immediately. If you go for a Reaper, sometimes you get caught in this weird position where the Reaper's halfway across the map and you're building a reactor. And then you have no units, and maybe your command center gets canceled, or it's a whole brouhaha, alright? Which, I'm still... That can't be a real word. But, I think I used it in the correct context please leave a comment with what other words I should work into the cast that may or may not be made up, and don't Google it. Okay. Winter, all words are made up. There are many guys you can be, or girls. Don't be that one. That is my suggestion. Confabulate that. 4 Marines looking for overlords, finding potentially death. And a 3rd hatch, also important. Roach Warren is on the way for Rogue. It's gonna be another awkward start. This is... Byun has been mixing in... It almost, like... I truly wonder if the build Byun has in mind has a number of Marines he's looking for. Oh, Rogue going for a very classic tactic with the Nidus. Wow, a Nidus rush in 2021. Rogue has built championships off the Nidus, though it isn't nearly as ridiculous. Like, it was literally invulnerable for about a year, which was an interesting design choice to make the Nidus worm invulnerable as it was tunneling in. Much easier to kill afterwards, but Rogue did take full advantage of that. So, there's a Nidus. He sees it. The SCVs are pulled. This didn't work. Wait, did it? Does he have queens in there? No, it's just roaches. Yeah, so 2 roaches. Gonna have a bad day. Alright, so.
Denied.
Alright. That's how that ends, I guess. Byun with a random amount of Marines and enough vision of his own main, he wins the game. Pick a card, any card. I don't know what else to say. It didn't work. Byun with his random Marine count. I think this just goes to Depot. Yeah. And now we're in game 3. It is a best of 7. In most best of 7s, you will have games like that. I mean, it's not limited to best of 7s, but when you have that many games, players are much more likely to try to grab the either free win or the quick loss just to put that on the board. Because now, even though Byun just kind of auto-won by seeing the Nidus, essentially if he had vision of the Nidus, he wins the game. If he doesn't have vision, it's much more in doubt. Though the fact he was still going for Marines means he was already well prepared. If it was like Hellion Banshee or 3CC, and Rogue gets a Nidus in, he probably just wins. But since Byun already had Banshees on the way, and he was going Marine tank, I think even if the Nidus finishes, Byun's in a great spot. So, when you do have a best of 7, you have those games to play with. And now, Byun has it in the back of his mind. Rogue might go for the Nidus. Like, probably not. But, it's there now, so... Oh my god, Byun. Feeling uncomfortable with the whole situation. Will scout with an SCV. What a crazy development this is. I haven't seen this the entire series. He will scout. He will see a hatchery at a hatch first timing. and he will go home. My work here is done. That's all he was willing to do. But that should be enough. That means Byun can comfortably go about his business back at home without worrying about Zerglings up in his grill. Or anywhere else in his general vicinity. Once again, he's going to skip the Reaper. Well, he didn't go Reactor first. He went Marine and then Reactor. I don't know if that was just to maybe deny the Overlord or to be safe against Pool first. But here we are. What? Oh, he killed the rocks. I heard something rumbling like it was substantial. It was the destructible rocks that are mostly there to prevent you from cannon rushing in the most dirty manner. But also technically there to stop bunker rushes. Fun fact, back in the day, many moons ago, when in 2010 and 2011, you could just put 3 pylons or 2 bunkers at the bottom of the ramp and Zergs couldn't get down it. And that was terrible. Like, it got to the point where before maps started requiring these unbuildable rocks, like they even say it in the name, Zergs would patrol a drone at the bottom of the ramp. So now you can wall off the high ground, but that gives a lot more surface area to workers. On the low ground, you only have, like, the very bottom of the ramp, which is obviously terrible. So instead of saying just get good Zergs, if you remember, Terrans had an almost 50% win rate in GSL up until the end of 2011. Most of you don't remember. Terrans were actually statistically very imbalanced and super good, and that's how they were nerfed like 6 times in the first year. Mules no longer mine gold minerals extra quickly. You have to build a supply depot before a barracks, you stupid nerds, and things like this. You can't bunker rush the bottom of the ramp instantaneously. Map design exists. All these things and more were made to make it so Terrans weren't super annoying, but to this day they continue to be, so here we are. Widow mines. Need I say more? The Widow Mine actually found enough Zergling kills. Rogue has to pull away from his main mineral line. By the way, a Widow Mine Marine drop, which...
Who does that?
Oh my, the Marines body block the Spore! The Spore! What are you doing, Spore Crawler? Step Spore! Not there! Meanwhile, the Queen's just, well... So it looks like it was going great. Like, Byun did a lot of damage, but he did lose 2 out of 3 Hellions. So, the follow-up Hellion Banshee play, thankfully without... God damn it, Byun. Well, the armory helps the Widow. He actually just lost his Hellions, but he's still going Hellbats. He did a little more damage with the early pressure here than he did in the previous game. Unfortunately, he didn't get the armory before the mine drop. It looks like he's still going to go Banshee Hellbat, which I still can't figure out. Maybe it works really well on the ladder. It feels like a ladder build. It feels like against everyone but a single-digit number of Zergs. Like a low single-digit, like Dark, Rogue, Solar, and then the Europeans. Everyone but them. The Hellbats are probably great. But I feel like you really gotta adjust when you're playing against Rogue. It's not bad to have an armory. And he's delayed. This has been a great game for Byun. You can almost do no wrong here. The amount of mining time and damage, both to Zerglings and larva through having to build extra Zerglings, Byun has put himself in a real comfortable position with 1-1 on the way. Stim. No combat shields, but if there's no Baneling speed, and Baneling speed has not started. What is this? A Hellbat and a bunch of Marines to escort. A couple Banshees on the 4th. The Queens are scrambling. Rogue is up to 67 drones, but his upgrades are so late. He did not get Baneling speed, and he still isn't researching it. This is, in my opinion, a huge mistake. And that will cost him, if not the game, all his map control. Any map control he could pretend to have. Yeah, he starts Baneling speed, and then he starts his 1-1. That was straight up a mistake. He wasn't saving it. He had a Baneling nest. He had a lair. He had every opportunity to start it. He just didn't. And now this means, even though there's a... Well, wait. Okay, Byun has no units, and the door's open. You can't just leave the door open! Byun, why do you do this to yourself? Oh, no. Like, he comes back to defend, but that's devastating. He's stacking up his SCVs, which means his tank is obliterating his tank. The tank kills like 10 SCVs, adding up to 21. If Rogue had Bane speed right now, he could crush this. Even without it, well, without it, it's a lot closer, is the problem. Yeah. Oh, beyond no. Yeah, without Bane speed, this becomes incredibly difficult to deal with. Any amount of Marines with better upgrades are just going to be a force to be reckoned with, and it doesn't look like there's any reckoning coming. He targets down the Bane nest, no Baneling speed ever. And Byun will be stimming through. Yeah. Unfortunately, the incredible counterattack is undercut by the lack of Bane speed. It's not just for the speed. Banelings also get plus 5 HP from it. So, besides closing the distance significantly quicker, also taking at least another Marine shot to die. Rogue would be in an incredible spot with it. But instead, he's just in an okay one. Unfortunately, Byun essentially shooting his own SCVs with his tank. Byun should be walking towards a victory right now. What a mess this game is. Byun should be walking towards a victory. If he hadn't let those Zerglings just saunter into his base and then eat all those tank shots, he would easily have the Marine count with the support to deal with this. As it stands, it still looks very good. Does he have combat shield? What? He doesn't have, he's not researching it. Oh my god, you guys. Like, once again, not to angry coach players with infinitely more championships than myself, but combat shield seems like kind of a big deal when you don't have any medevacs. Will anybody finish any of these critical upgrades for their units? So 19 drones died, but Byun doesn't have a critical mass of Marines. Oh no. He doesn't have... The Marines are not... He can just get to the third. There's 2 Banelings without speed! He targets one, the other hits. There's not enough in... Just take the depot. Take the depot! Fire! Oh, there's so many SCVs. What a disaster all around. The turrets. The Marine count isn't high enough. Does Byun lose this game? Oh, no. Oh, Byun. Oh, a Thor pops out. But wait, a new challenger approaches. What is happening? What a mess. So Byun now has +2 attack. He's about to have +2 armor. Byun keeps partitioning his units to have just slightly too few to ever actually do anything. Oh no, the Thor! But Rogue doesn't quite have enough to deal with it. He just started combat shield. Bane speed is done, but that's no longer really relevant. Oh, this was a very Wings of Liberty game. And it's looking very much... Oh, Byun. Oh no. A lot of unforced errors from both sides here. If Rogue had Bane speed, well, Byun never needed to let the counterattack in. The counterattack that killed a third of his SCVs, that was unnecessary at best. And then Rogue just forgetting Bane speed was uncharacteristic. And then Byun not getting combat shields is more understandable and possibly more expected, but also the the only reason Rogue is still in this game is because of Byun with two massive mistakes. One is the counterattack, and two is forgetting combat shield. Like, so, like, these are the kind of games I wish I wasn't nearly as, like, I wish I wasn't as good at StarCraft, I guess, is how I'm gonna put it. Because if I didn't see all these things, and I didn't know how important they were, I could just be like, oh my god, it's so back and forth! But here we are. And it is back and forth. But once again, this leaves Byun with a bunch of Billy in the pipe 5x5, boys. Oh no, they killed Billy. Don't worry. They didn't find us. Dan and Arthur. They thought they had all of us. Well, Byun with great upgrades. He's got tanks. He's off a creep. Great splits. Amazing splits. The banelings are not enough. The Marines might be able to start work. Oh, wait, there's another round. Wait, there's more. Only one medevac left over. The stutter step isn't enough. A tank on the high ground. Byun. How does it always end up like this? Byun with a bunch of Marines. Maybe a tank. Maybe a medevac if he's lucky. And that's it. That is his army, as it always ends up being. How does it keep happening? Unfortunately, Rogue has stabilized his economy. He's finished 2-2. He's building his upgrades. He's got enough mutas. These Marines aren't getting healed, and they're still addicted to stim pack. Rogue is back on his feet, and Byun is about to be swept off his. There's not much, like, Rogue is overestimating Byun, I think, here. But good to be careful. The turret is targeting the SCVs, of which Byun has precious few. This, okay, an interesting rally point. The turret, I think Byun ran out of money at some point in there. He has it now, but he ran out of minerals to repair for a second. All Rogue has to do is crush the army. The mutas are killing the third. Byun doesn't have enough SCVs to mine from it. There's now 21 banelings, with 15 more on the way, which will give him more banelings than there are Marines. There are also mutas, lings, and queens, in case... Here comes Rogue to kill Byun. The Marines go flying, the tanks are dying, and now all Terrans are crying as Rogue... a long, drawn-out sigh. And says, maybe baneling speed is a good skill toy have. Oh, Byun. Byun reminds me much. For better or worse. I know I make fun of him for make fun of Clem and now Byun. But, in fact, right now who he reminds me a lot of is Hero Marine. All due respect to the biggest of games. Okay. But Hero Marine is a very technical player with a lot of the most well-thought-out builds. He gets himself into a great spot a lot of the time. And then there's like one depot left down. And that one depot does change everything. And that does make a lot of the difference, especially at this, like, there is less than no room for error against players like Rogue. What does that mean? That means you might do your build perfectly with no mistakes and still lose. Because Rogue is just that good. But when you combat shields as... Oh, that's a big one. 10 HP. Rogue forgot speed and 5 HP on his Banes. Byun forgot 10 HP on his Marines, which is just so obviously important. It is a very large upgrade to be missing. Especially when your army ends up being just Marines about half the game. Well, we'll see. I feel like I'm focusing so much on these mistakes. And I am desperately trying not to make the entire cast about this is what they're doing wrong, either subjectively or somewhat objectively. But at the same time, I would be lying if I said that was a good game. It was an exciting game. It was a close game. But as for the best game these players could play, far from it. But the entertaining part was that it seemed to even out somewhat. So we'll see if the series continues down that direction. I mean, you do it enough and you end up like Zest, where you just kind of are like, oh, it looks like Zest just lost 2 Colossi walking into tanks from his rally point. That's just Zest. If you do it enough, you just end up like that. And I don't think either of these players have quite earned it yet. Though, there's still time. Zest the #1 ranked Protoss right now, by the way, as well. But still in that category. Reactored Hellions. Byun just... I don't know what the method to the madness is, but Byun definitely liking the reactored Marine opener. Prioritizing it pretty heavily. Last game was... I don't know what the number... Like, does he just... Is there a trigger for the number of Marines he builds? Is it part of the build? He's built 4 this game. He's built 8 in other games. Like, where is the number coming from? Don't. Armory on the way. Looks like we're gonna have a Hellbat opener. Yet again. Rogue. Probably won't expect it. In fact, the last game was a Hellbat opener. It's just Rogue killed so many Hellions early on. Oh, well. It looks like the premium seats are for the ones who don't already have wheels. Last game was technically a Hellbat opener. It's just Byun never actually transformed the Hellbats because he lost several of them early to Queens. So Hellbats every game, essentially. A Liberator to follow it up. Is there... Oh, no, a Spine Crawler is on the way. Rogue taking this very serious. It looks like the number of Marines was to be able to get 8 by the time this push happens. So, Byun just kind of loses a Hellbat and several Marines. The Queens will fan out. Brenda! Split formation! Social distancing protocol activate! Okay, don't have to be so serious about it, Lucille. Alright, so... The Queens force back. The Hellbats are now definitely creating quite a sauna. 1 Queen immolated. Another Queen down. Could probably snipe the medevac. Gets it. Alright, the Queens have whittled down the Hellbat count to 3. The Hellbats have whittled down the Queen count to 2. Okay, so, what did that do? Well, now there's a Liberator on the way. Seems a little late to the party, to be honest. Yeah. So, well, this is going to be annoying for Rogue to deal with. Surprised he's losing any drones to it, to be honest. He did see it. Oh, Byun. Okay. This time he does raise the depot. The Liberator took a wrong turn, and by that I mean no turn at all, in escaping the base. The Hellbats are trying to figure out what they want in their life. The Liberator does slip away, barely. Wait, there's that Marine on the outside? I guess so. So, The existence of the Liberator made that a little better. But... no, there's another one. 48 Zerglings have died, which is a lot of Zerglings, and 5 Queens. So that was on the better end of Hellbat attacks. He did limit Rogue somewhat. Wow, Burrow on the way. That seems very intentional. He got Burrow in game 1 and never used it. So, I don't know if this is like Rogue doing a viewer challenge right now, like actually use Burrow Banes or something. This is one of the more interesting... I've never seen the occupational Liberator. Like, the Liberator itself cannot take the Watchtower, but it can protect anything at it to some extent, so... an interesting play. Byun gonna put that armory to use. Gets +1 mech armor. Another Liberator headed towards the main. So the problem when you do the Hellbat opener, especially if you do end up losing most of them, whether trading or whatever, is you don't really have a follow-up for a while. You have nothing, and you probably encourage them to build a bunch of queens. So that means Rogue is taking a 4th and a macro hatch, giving him 5 hatches. He's pretty untouched on the creep spread, though it was delayed somewhat. So Byun is going to have to contend with a Rogue at essentially full production. He does get combat shield. He's got 1-1. Both sides are going to have 1-1. Baneling speed is still pretty far out here. Liberator shows up again. Meanwhile, the Lings and Banes. Without Bane speed, this is a bit of an awkward army to fight out of Byun. Rogue needs the Queens here as a buffer. Spore Crawler in the main. The Queens are actually the decider. Until Bane speed is done, he can box out with the Hellions. Notice I say Hellions. And the 4th hatchery could be target. Oh my god. And the Queens almost in range to transfuse. So Rogue does lose the hatch. Honestly, it looked bad. But he delayed the creep. He killed the hatch. Rogue did have another hatch anyway. It's almost done. But look at the supplies. Now, this is actually not nearly as bad as that looked. Byun is in a very good spot, despite losing a few very brave, honorable Marines, and honor their memories, of course. Not propaganda, just memorial. He has so much production. He's got 5 racks. He's going on a 2nd factory. He's at 68 SCVs. He's almost to the nice number you're looking for a good economy. And behind this, Rogue, losing that creep and that map control, still forced... like, he didn't go mutas this game. Which I'm kind of surprised, as he had a lot of space to do so. But since he didn't go mutas, means he can't directly deal with the drops. Means he's stuck on his creep. And Byun is going to start hammering the point home. Hive Tech is a long way off right now. The Infestation Pit's only halfway done, as are those 2-2 upgrades across the board. Byun can flex Terran his muscles. He's going to have a lot of mines. He has +1 mech armor, which helps out the medevacs and mines a bit. Not a huge difference, but doesn't hurt either. The Hydras are not here to fight. The Hydras are mostly eventually going to be lurkers. That's their job. Those Marines flying to the heavens, brave sacrifices. Widow Mines, doing what Widow Mines do best, which is just randomly hit things that no one's looking at. The creep is being driven back. Byun gonna swing the main army around the right side. Timed out with 2-2. Small army looking to get caught. Byun picks up in time. Boosts away. Counterattack through the center lane. Not enough reinforcements. Manages to get the depot up in time, but he just redirects the Zerglings. He tries to wall it off, but it's too little too late. The rest of the army comes back, and Byun once again. He spotted the Baneling Burrow, but he loses 19 SCVs. Byun. The entire army dragged back for that. And he lost 20 SCVs anyways, as they were trapped in by his own depots. Oh no. On the bright side, though he doesn't know it, he's now avoided the Baneling mines that Rogue has laid down because he took a weird pathing. I'm not sure if Rogue even noticed, but with a hive on the way, he does need to crush this if possible. Widow mines on all sides, dragged into the Oh my god, the Widow mine! Oh, there's gonna be a committee investigation about that one. Oh my god, the Widow mine obliterating a dozen Marines. Oh, the vengeance! Gun down the queens! Down with the monarchy! And the Baneling mines, as always, they're not Widow mines, alright? Widow mines can hit everything in like a 50-foot radius. The Baneling mines, if you don't stand directly here, then they hit nothing. It's emotional damage. Oh my god, once again, the Widow mines. There's no such thing as collateral. Splash damage don't discriminate. At least that's what the propaganda poster said. Once again, the Widow mine target. He retargeted the mine onto the Hydras. And that actually makes the difference. He avoided his own Widow mine shot, and Byun guns down all the Hydras, which opens up another opportunity. It's not about how many men die, it's about how many Byun has to replace them. And he has a lot. He's building 10 at a time and a couple Marauders. Another mine hit. Splashes across the Marines. The Overseers are dropping like flies, or maybe even more quickly. Pushes back this. And once again, Byun has units that start with M, and he's flexing them all over the map. Rogue dragged back towards his very own natural. He might lose the Hydralisk Den. Byun not focusing his fire. The Marine upgrades are too damn good, and without splash damage, he's not going to be able to make the difference. A few Baneling mines are not going to be enough to undercut the momentum that has been created here. Marines, mines, medevacs, marauders, and momentum, the 5 M's of Terran. And right now, the Marines eventually getting whittled down as the medevacs are finally out of energy. A big Baneling hit gives Rogue an opportunity to get back into things. Lurker Den is complete if Hydra Den is forced to regrow, and Lurkers are required. The 4th base, a strong gust of wind and a wink. Like Baneling mines are so useless. They wish they were Widow mines. What are you gonna do? Hit 4 Marines rallied across the map? Byun, at this point, even if he wanted to, doesn't have enough Marines to make the mines worth it. But that's a lot of Lurkers. The base itself, where are the queens? Transfuses are required. Lurker range is done, and he's slicing and dicing through the bio army. Things will slow down. A few burrowed lings. Did he notice the burrow? I don't think so. Are there adrenal glands? No. The Marauders are going for the suicide run. He gets it, and every medevac comes in to save the brave Marauders. Oh, God, Baneling mines are so bad. Rogue. This is why people don't go Bane mines, by the way. Is because Rogue keeps staring at them instead of doing anything. He's like, one of these times, there will be enough units to make these useful. You might as well neural parasite a Widow mine if you want to make mines work. Okay? Actually, what would that even do? Would that help? I don't think it would help. I think that wouldn't actually help at all. The Widow mines are doing just fine against Terran on their own. But Rogue is down to 161 supply. Byun is still maxed out. He's begrudgingly making Liberators now. A Nidus into the main 3 SCVs are like, guys, hello. Above our pay grade, the Marauders will handle it. But a couple lings in the natural. Remember those? Rogue finally did. Oh, no. Oh my god. Byun, what are you insane? He's trying to fight ranged Lurkers. Another Zergling counterattack. Byun, you need ghosts or tanks. Liberators are good, but ghosts or tanks. Will Byun continue to hold down his M keys? I don't think they're actually on M. This isn't Brood War. Okay, we need a hotkey for probe. No one actually uses their keyboard for this game, right? Okay, just put it on P, because probe starts with a P. And that was how RTS games were in the 20th century. That way people can remember it. The ghost really, Byun. Like, This is how much of an afterthought the Ghost Academy is. I guess it's in a important location. Scouting, like, burrowed scoutinglings definitely seems like a more effective use of burrow. Like, I keep getting my vision dragged back to these over here. That's not gonna happen. Stop trying to make main mines happen. The lurkers have stalled out. Byun looked like he had enough. Rogue was bending. Oh, come on! Come on! That was it! That was it! That was the one! Yes, this is why. You can technically put them... Rogue, please. Please, I beg of you. I beg of you, Rogue. He triggered both. You know what? There you go. Byun drops like 10 supply. He triggered 3 out of 4, which... Did you know 1+3 Marauder kills a Nidus right before it finishes? Fun fact. So I guess he may have consciously left that for scouting and accepted the fact that it's not going to happen. If it's not a base trade with orbitals lifted, even then it's still not that good. But the ghost. Byun's ghost control is great every time I've seen it. It's just he doesn't like showing it off, and I don't know why. Like, somebody maybe needs a few more compliments. Byun, your ghost control is so immaculate, so precise, so beautiful, it could be called zest. Okay? So now you had to make it weird. Alright, guys. Those are full energy Vipers over there. Lurkers burrowed. Spread out beautifully so the Marauders could be more than enough. Oh, Parasitic Bomb and the Medivacs. High-sec auto-tracking is finished as we get dragged into the late game. Oh, Widow Mines! High-sec auto-tracking should buff Widow Mines. Does he not have Hydra speed? He has Hydra range. No Hydra speed. I think the Hydra Den... Oh, he's getting it. Yeah. I think the Hydra Den was killed when he was first researching it. Neosteel. Oh my god. The Widow Mines keep hitting. Finally dealt with by the Lurkers. Both players maxed out. Money in the bank. 5 bases or so. Rogue has lost 2,500 more gas and 6,000 more minerals. But, oh wow, that's a lot of ghosts. But that's also a lot of lurkers. Great spread. The orbital parting the blue sea. And suddenly, snipes across the board. Byun's firing squad unleashes a volley. The Vipers return with some abducts, kidnapping a few of the ghosts. Does he not have cloak? Is that Banshee Cloak? I forget if he went Banshee Cloak. I bet that's Banshee Cloak. Otherwise, why wouldn't he cloak the ghost? That's a good question. So the snipes drive back the lunkers down to 15, which does sound like a lot, though. Burrowed everything everywhere. Some changelings doing their best. Oh, this Widow Mine only racked up 5 kills so far. Overseers required in essentially every location. The ghosts only make it more necessary. Another mine. Oh, Jesus Christ. The ghosts, ghosts don't even need to snipe. They're very good against lings and mains. It only takes 2 hits. The snipes across the board. He has the cloak. He uses it. Cutting down everything. The lurkers cut to pieces. One lurker. They uncloak at the last second and almost loses all of his ghosts here. Yeah, Burrow not as good when you can just scan. Rogue just eviscerated by the snipes here. Losing a critical mass of lurkers. He's trying to make Nidus work, but what is even the purpose of Nidus at this point? He can just fly his production away, even if you get a Nidus in the main. There's no minerals within a zip code. Even a Nidus in the main. I don't see... That's not a long-term strategy. Everyone's burrowed next to each other awkwardly over there. Byun once again pushing along the left flank. It's been a bit. But without... Where are the lurkers? There are 8 lurkers. Here they are. Banelings crashing through. Parasitic Bomb helping out. But the Medivac still holding their ground. He needs lurkers. Rogue is not going to be able to fight in any sort of meaningful way without him. The Banelings kill a ghost and make the other ones feel very uncomfortable. Rogue is bleeding out here. Where are... The lurkers backed off and then stopped. Rogue! He's now mining from this side of the map, but there's another army coming up. The Widowmine moving back into position. There's no detection here. We could see the same thing happen again. Well, several lurkers. There's still a mine down there. Oh no. Not again. It's up to 6 kills. That is an exchange. The ghosts will cloak. They will snipe. There is no detection. They know that. He can continue unloading as the lurkers are gunned down. And until the spore crawler's done, a few more snipes. He's trying to kill the ghosts just from proximity damage. Catches a few. Oh my god, those ghosts are in the middle of it. They do get sliced and diced. Maybe overstaying their welcome there. But Rogue is running out of mining. For the first time in a while, a pretty decisive, well, not decisive, but an income advantage and a supply advantage for Byun. Brat! Drone's getting chased down. I don't know why he thought over here was anywhere close to safe. The Nidus is... He's gonna make the Nidus work. Alright, so this... Rogue has been immensely wasteful with his lurkers. He's lost 27 lurkers. The ghost getting yanked in. EMP before they go down. He's gonna make the Nidus work. Oh no, 20, that's it. Byun, too much. He ties it up. It looked like Byun might break through in the mid-game. The Marine, Marauder, Mine, Micro, Medevac, Momentum mid-game. No. On the other hand, Rogue stabilized. But he was never able to find the decisive fight. He was. I feel like he was trying to fit a Nidus worm-sized peg into a non-existent hole. Just poking and prodding. Couldn't find a frontal attack. And Byun is able to carry that momentum through. It was a little dicey. But he definitely kept map control solidly in that match. And Rogue was never able to quite recover from it. All tied up. In this Alpha X Super Series. 2-2, Romanticide. Probably the most macro of macro maps. The Cloud Kingdom 4.2, such as it is, where you can defend 3 bases with relative ease. And 4 and 5 bases are not too far out either. Just with choke points and high ground. We do usually see the longer games on this map. 2,000 atmospheres. Also a bit of a long game map, but will Byun let it get that far? Will Rogue stumble? I feel like he had the opportunity to go Mutas. Where, like, he had the space after the Hellbats to go Mutas. Going Hydras is kind of like, we're even economically, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do enough with Lingbang. But Mutas are, while they're a risk, the Mutas can take back map control from a Terran. They can stop them from doing these multi-pronged attacks that make it very difficult to cost-effectively hold on to your 4th or your 5th. But of course, a strong gust of wind or 2 particularly ambitious Widow Mines, well, even 4 Widow Mines together kill Mutas. But even 1 or 2 make it, like a Widow Mine is 75-25. A Muta, alright, okay, Jimmy, can we get them, let's do some math. Alright, so 100 minus 75, 25. Let's see. Let's crunch the numbers here.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you.
So, that does become the issue. Oh, Byun? Oh my god, is that a Reaper? Byun breaking out the Reaper in Game 5 for the first time. He's gonna do the obligatory anti-Ling micro. Rogue goes for the creep too. I think we've got a consensus. All right, now your time to prove that you and Clem are... There's a reason. Jimmy, give me the... I think we all know Clem would have gotten that creep tumor. I hate to say it, but doesn't quite land the shots. Queen. Rogue really pressing. Oh, wait! But wait! A chance for redemption! You know, everyone thinks they're Clem, but sometimes they end up as Cure. There's no shame in being Cure. Okay? But you're probably not going to end up on the cover of Esports Illustrated. Let's put it that way. Hellions looking, they get a drone, so good job out there. Third CC for Byun. I mean, Rogue seems like he's gonna speed run 50 drones this game. Does he? Well, he saw the Hellions. He killed the Reaper. Just the fact the Reaper exists means it's not going to be as quick of a Marine push, because, now this is a fun fact, Reaper, not a Marine. And also when you build a Reaper, your reactor is significantly later, and if you're building that many Hellions, it's not on a barracks. So that means Rogue is about to confirm his suspicions. Third command center, orbital command, indeed. Spotted. The cloak. Now does he cancel it? No. Looks like he's going through with the cloak. Not a bad thing to have. The threat of cloak can keep Rogue bottled up, but he's gonna pass the 50 drone mark before we pass the 5-minute mark. Get a lair on the way. Now we look for the Evo chambers in the NG bays. Byun should be starting those NG bays in 3, 2, 1, 0. NG bays. And Rogue should be starting those Evo chambers. Looks like we got a bit of a macro game, as both sides realizing that damage potential is quite low, and the best opportunity to get an advantage is going to be outmaneuvering in the mid-game. I doubt, especially Byun, but also Rogue, are going to sit back to like Hive or 200 supply, but now place your guesses, place your bets. We got a lair done. Is it going to be Mudas? He's got 1-1. The Banshees are spotted. The delayed cloak. Actually, I think Rogue saw the cloak. He's like, he's not actually going to go cloak. And that can sometimes work. Like, here we are. He did. He called his bluff. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, watch out! The Hellions, there's a handful of... That's actually not enough Lings here without the Queens. Byun working around the edges, forcing more Lings. He's gonna do a little damage to the 4th hatchery. I bet Rogue will take another hatch while we're waiting here. Armory on the way just in time. Surprised he didn't just go out and grab one. No other tech from Rogue. He's got 700 gas. This is actually just a mistake. What's it gonna be, Rogue? He's got 600 gas. That can't just be for banelings. I mean, eventually 2-2. A push is coming, but he doesn't have an infestation pit. He doesn't have a hydralisk den. He doesn't have a spire. So, Rogue is banking up a lot of gas, and it's not going anywhere right now. It doesn't grow interest over time. He's not going to corner the market and sell it to Byun later. It doesn't quite work like that. He does have to deal with this marine push. Byun, no combat. Where's your combat shield? Go get combat shield. You go home and you bring back combat shield, or you don't come back at all. Oh my god, those marines still doing pretty well until they aren't. Not a great fight. Like, he still wins the fight, but at Byun. In a 5-5-5-5, boys. Byun! Get it! This is why Diamond players love Byun. Okay? He really, he's an inspiration to all of them. Though I wouldn't recommend being inspired to forget combat shields repeatedly. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Every one of those Marines has one stim pack worth of HP less than they should right now. He's got to realize it. Like, his Marines are just so good, he doesn't always realize. There, he starts it. But the Banelings are closing the distance. One tank isn't going to be enough. It's just 2 Banshees. The Lings and Banes just overrun the army. It's a huge deal. It really... It's an unforced error. It's something Byun cannot continue to make and expect to... Like, it feels like it's one of those, like, plot holes where it's like, Byun's Marines are always really good, except when he really needs them, and they die to Banelings because they don't have combat shield. It's like, this isn't realistic. No pro gamer would forget combat shields multiple times in a series. Well, reality is stranger than fiction. He does eventually get it, and he will have it by the 2-2 timing. And Rogue is still in a rough spot. Rogue has not yet started his He hasn't started the infestation. He's gonna crush the army. The rallying mind... Oh, finally the Widowmine show up to the party. Infestation pit, hydralisk den. It feels like we're putting a lot of stuff on hold here. Both these players. As Rogue has been banking over 500 gas this whole time, he could already had a hive on the way. But he does have 2-2. He's got decent creep spread. He's got a lot of map control. He might be able to deny the 4th. And that would really set Byun back. Dun 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 dun. Okay, you saw it. 2-2's done for both sides. Infestation pit done. Hive starts now. Rogue is looking for this army. Rogue, where are you going? Start your hive. He did. Lurker den as well. Byun working another angle. Widowmine's back for more. A whole lot of army supply. Widowmine's not really finding huge connections. A lot of Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs. A Terran's Terran. And adds fuel to the fire. And drama to the series. He picks... What are you doing? Oh my god. We're gonna drop right on top. They'll never expect it. Sir? Right on. To the main. Let's go to the main. Alright. Yeah, that was a better idea. He did manage to snipe the hatch to the north. Meanwhile, another push from the 4th base. Medevacs into the main, snipes the macro hatch, going in towards the pseudo 3rd, drops the Marine, sacrifices them, but their sacrifices are not in vain as he brings the pain, and the Banes are no longer something that will continue to support Rogue's reign. A Banshee in the back. Byun, in about half a year, will get through the spawning pool, but definitely an important building. The drop into the main. Suddenly, Rogue regretting the lack of his Spire. He's got... Byun's are so good at the multi-task. We're going to go to the Byun action cam as he continues to pile on the mid-game aggression. And yes, still mid-game, despite being maxed out, because Byun is just still building these mid-game units. As soon as the lurkers with range hit the field, they get so incredibly less... Oh, he drags! He drags into the Whittle Mine. A direct hit center mass kills all the Zerglings. Drop at the back, splits, looking for more opportunities, taking the fight, stims in for another round, scans forward, sees a handful of Hydras, picks up, gets out. Where are the reinforcements? Enough Marines to win the fight. Micros back a little bit, continues forward with everything else. The rally point a little off. Ghosts on the way. 2 more command centers coming up. +1 mech weapons. Adding on, I don't even know what that is in the back. A second armory. Byun is on the way, giving moral support to all his Marines. 3 ghosts in production. Command centers across the board. Byun can't stop and he won't stop. And in fact, he will continue to support, emotionally and physically support his units. But the lurkers are spotted and that could change everything. Byun gonna work around the angles. Lurker range is about to complete. Slips up into the medevacs, looking for more opportunities. The drop in the main, shot down. The drop in the natural, still intact, looking for more opportunities. Also stimming into the third. Baneling's closing the distance, tries to micro back, will be successful enough. Picks up from the natural. 2 medevacs of units get out. Lurkers scrambling back into the 5th. He's able to get into the medevacs, picks up into the main. Going for the 4th, the 5th, picks up again. Oh, the Queens! The entire knitted crew is here. Get off our lawn! And Rogue has driven Byun back. He's still working around the angles, but less and less getting done for more and more cost.
Mineral field depleted.
Byun, you can kind of see it now. What now? Ghosts, I guess. To the Rogue action cam. He's weathered the assault. Reestablishing the creep. Building up defenses. Adding upgrades. Even creeping to the edge of his main, because that is a vulnerable point as well. Byun. Rogue just looks to see. He still loses the hatch. Setting up... Is that injects? The Queens, I think, will be scrambling for injects. Snipe, snipe, snipes! Where? No! Oh, you see the panic. You can hear the snipes. He sees the snipes, but he doesn't see the ghosts. A couple parasitic bombs, trying to keep it together. Reinforcements on the way. Oh god, hearing it before seeing it is so terrible. Because you know your lurkers are exposed. Rogue is still scrambling beyond his foot on the gas. And with plenty of it in the bank, he can stay on the pedal for a while. Rogue, don't do it! Rogue, no! Oh, god damn it, Rogue! He consumes his macro hatch. Oh, I saw him click it, but he didn't. He didn't look. He might not have all health bars on. He might only have some. I don't know. Oh. Byun has 5 more command centers in production, which will put him at 13. The ghost count. He's keeping the momentum up. As Rogue, his hatchery count down 1 more after all this. The thing is, Byun is still at risk of being overrun. Where's the cloak? He has both flavors of cloak. Oh my god, the whole firing squad just gunning down line formation. The ghosts, the banelings can't find a target. The ghosts splitting, but understanding they can take a few extra hits. Only, how many ghosts? He's only lost 2 ghosts! Oh my god. Parasitic Bomb. Rogue taps it out. Beyond. A confident follow-up to the last game. At first in this series, it looked like Rogue would have control of any of the later game. But Beyond, a hesitant victory on 2,000 atmospheres. That was a clinic right there. Beyond, all you have to do is drop 3 to 4 places. Who cares about combat shield? Drop 3 to 4 places at once, keep total map control, make a dozen command centers, perfect ghost micro, and then claim your victory. And that puts him on match point. Easy peasy. Yeah, not sure why other Terrans don't just do that. Well, Beyond with a roaring return in the series. What a series it is. This Team Alpha X Super Series. But a quick advertisement. Of course, we got to get in while we still can. Thank you guys for watching. Pause and block if you are so inclined. Thank you for watching. I will be right back. Hey everybody, I'm Winter, and are you a Terran player who hasn't actually played the game since like at least 2017 but still sexually identify as a Byun fangirl? Well, so am I. And we can all get together and agree to smash that like button on every video that Byun is in. No matter how it ends up, we all know it's gonna be fun getting there. So, thank you to Team Alpha X, as always, for putting on this and so many other series. Check them out on the tweeters with the link below. If Jimmy doesn't forget, that comes directly out of your healthcare. What do you mean you don't have any? Okay, well, that makes sense. But on the link below. But wait, there's more. Did you know that if you go to the pro game casting playlist, you can find arguably pro players being cast by me? Yes, one of your most casters on all of the YouTube. So make sure to check that out. But wait, there's more. Did you know if you have Amazon Prime, then every month for free you can get great loot for shitty mobile games designed to take your money and your sanity. And also, you can subscribe to a streamer of your choice for free every single month, or even me. So I know it's 2 p.m. Right now, and I'm not live on Twitch. But that shouldn't and couldn't and wouldn't stop you from subscribing, would it? No, because every moment you don't subscribe, you're losing money for me. So subscribe with Prime Gaming. Because remember, at Amazon Prime, we know where you live. You told us. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know ads are loud and annoying, but esports and supporting your favorite content creators, etc., yada yada. Game 6 of the Alpha X Super Series. Back to the action. Byun with a beautiful, almost flawless. Besides, like, was the combat shield a big deal? Yes. Did it end up deciding things? No. Honestly, I think Rogue, not to undercut, but Rogue definitely could have been quicker on deciding what layer tech, if any, he wanted to go for. Banking 500, 600, 700 gas, even when you are producing a bunch of Banes, is obviously not incredibly efficient. And is definitely a pain point in dealing with that constant pressure. I don't... Like, it really does... I thought the lurkers would do it. But Byun has kept so much pressure up that the lurkers have never been able to move out of the base. And that wasn't even like the minefield place. That was just triple-pronged attacks. Constantly. It's terrifying to deal with. I don't actually know. I think Mutas. Unfortunately or fortunately. I guess depending on who you are. But honestly, I think the play is Mutas. Also, I want to point out, that was the strongest game from Byun yet. I think we can all agree. That last match. 0 Hellbats. Moving on. No, not moving on. 0 Hellbats. 0 combat shield, but... I just... And there wasn't much damage done early. Byun just kind of got away with the 3cc. Rogue has been known to punish 3cc in the past, but Byun, that was the first time he went straight for it. And it really paid off. I don't think it's something you can do every game. But it definitely is... I think you need to mix it in, especially on a map like Romanticide, where it's a lot easier to defend. And it's unlikely the game is going to end before 3 bases. Two Hellions. How many Marines are we at this time? 6 Marines. I don't know where we're coming up with these numbers, but 6 Marines. And an armory. He's really trying to make it happen. He really wants the Hellbats to be a thing. It's not 2014 anymore. I don't know, maybe this time. The only time I've seen Hellbats outright do significant damage is combined with some other better barracks units. Like either a concussive shell marauder or maybe a ghost. And then it's more of a ghost or a marauder build than it is a Hellbat build. But here we are. Rogue is making queens because that's kind of just the entire early game build order for Zerg. And like, you know my thoughts on that. Go check out my new hit single, Build More Queens. Also, there are Zerglings in his natural because it's not walled. The Hellbats are doing what is this? Like, what is this? It feels like Rogue decided to turn down the difficulty setting. Or maybe Byun did, I'm not sure. There's Zerglings in the main. He lost 9 SCVs. His Hellbats are doing nothing. There's no cloak for the Banshee. Byun lost the game. It's over. What is this? I'm getting whiplash. What am I watching? Jesus. That really takes a lot of excitement out of that game before it, doesn't it? Maybe Byun forgot that Hellbat, like... So... I don't know. Hellbats, not Hellbats. You make your decisions. I don't know. I have my opinion on which build has done better. But... What the hell? Like... I don't know what to say. Is he 12 pulling? Wow, that is disrespectful, but... And Lightshade is a super good, like, standard Marine tank map, too. I didn't even have time to get into it because I saw the armory building. But Lightshade is well known as a marine tank map because of those high ground platforms outside the third, like that choke point area. Many Zergs have died trying to get a fourth base way too early. But we never got the... Oh, it's a Roach all-in. Wow, Rogue. Okay, Blackburn will be Game 7. Game 7, guys. Game 7, guys. This series has made me wish I was... And it's been literally 11 years since I was Silver League. I was Silver League for less than a month. Not to brag, but like... Then maybe I could just appreciate the drama. But what was that? Like... Oh, come on. And is he gonna scout? He's gonna go one rack... Oh, no. And this is how Rogue wins tournaments, by the way. Because Byun played some incredible games. Rogue plays to win. He doesn't... Byun has not SCV scouted. He hasn't made a reactor. Last game was concise. Oh no. He's gonna have one Marine. And that is it. This is a total disaster. Byun doesn't know it because he just decided he wasn't scouting this game. Like, the travel distance means there's a small chance if he flips over to make Hellions, it's over. Outright. If he... Okay. So he's gonna have Marine production. Which means there's a dream. But I would probably choose, if I had to, a more descriptive Korean player. Nightmare. Oh no. Oh no. Goes for the reactor, a good choice. The boys are pulled. He's gonna fight. He doesn't actually want to... He doesn't want the LCVs to get through. He's gonna supply block Byun. This is an absolute, utter disaster. This is how it... Like, two incredible, well-microed games from Byun. And then, in 10 minutes... This is a very rogue victory. Like... You thought we were finished... Like, you thought we were going to play this series out. No. I'm going to win this series now. And then he does. Wow. And that's how it ends. Oh my. The Executioner claims another. Rogue, 4-3. Thank you, Alpha X. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. I'm sure there will be some comments. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.